The first half of 2025 isn't even over, and it's already being called one of the most groundbreaking periods in modern science. We've discovered new ways to treat incurable diseases. We've started capturing energy directly from space. And maybe, just maybe, we've heard the first whisper of life beyond Earth. In this video, you'll see 8 real discoveries, all confirmed by scientists, peer-reviewed journals, and global institutions. Some will move you, others might keep you up at night, but all of them have one thing in common. They're changing our future. Right now. Welcome to Curiousverse. What if a vaccine could be made just for you? Not a generic formula, but something designed from your own tumor's genetic code, created to save your life. This is no longer science fiction, it's happening now. Researchers are developing fully personalized mRNA vaccines, built from a patient's tumor sample. Using next-generation sequencing, scientists identify neoantigens, unique protein fragments that exist only in that tumor. The vaccine teaches the immune system to recognize those fragments as enemies, activating specialized T cells to attack with precision we've never seen before. In clinical trials led by Moderna and Merck, the mRNA 4157 vaccine, combined with immunotherapy, reduced the risk of cancer recurrence in melanoma by nearly 44%. In other early studies, patients with kidney cancer entered full remission, and perhaps most surprising, side effects were minimal. No hair loss, no nausea, no brutal chemotherapy, just science, using genetic intelligence to fight elegantly. This vaccine isn't taken from a shelf. It's designed for one person, with surgical precision, with urgency, with hope. This discovery touched me deeply, and that's why we opened this video with it. And you? Did you already know this was happening? What do you think about this breakthrough? Tell us in the comments. It's not plastic, it's not silicone. This ear was made with living cells, and it was 3D printed. Sounds like science fiction, but it's real. And it's the first bioprinted ear, made with the patient's own cells, successfully implanted in the United States. The company 3D Biotherapeutics performed the procedure on a young woman with microtia, a rare condition where the outer ear doesn't fully develop. Using a special bioink called Vivo, made from collagen and live cells from the patient's own body, scientists printed a precise replica of her ear, layer by layer, using a custom 3D bioprinter. The result? A perfectly molded implant, compatible, functional, and completely natural in appearance. The procedure was approved by the FDA for Phase 1/2A clinical trials and is already being tested in medical centers in Los Angeles and Texas. And there's more. The treatment received the orphan drug designation, giving it special support for treating rare conditions. This marks a turning point in regenerative medicine. We're no longer just treating conditions, we're starting to rebuild the human body from the inside out. A few years ago, this would have sounded impossible. But today, science is building hope, one cell at a time. And now, the question is yours. Did you ever imagine that one day we could print parts of our own body? This meat you're looking at didn't come from a cow. It wasn't cut from an animal. It was grown, cell by cell, inside a bioreactor. And the most surprising part? It looks, tastes, and feels like real meat. This is lab-grown meat, a groundbreaking process where muscle cells are collected from a living animal, without harm, then placed in a controlled environment and multiplied until they form real tissue. That tissue is later shaped into burgers, fillets, or nuggets. Today the cost is still high, around $40.00 to $60.00 per kilogram, but new plant-based growth media, replacing fetal bovine serum, are rapidly lowering the price. Companies like Aleph Farms, Believer Meats, and Meatly are leading the race. This isn't fake meat, it's real meat, made without slaughter. And it's not just about cost or innovation. This new way of producing meat could reshape the world. Recent studies suggest that lab-grown meat may cut greenhouse gas emissions and land use by up to 92% compared to conventional livestock farming. That means fewer forests destroyed, fewer animals raised in confinement, and a dramatic drop in the resources used to feed the planet. It's not science fiction anymore. It's science, growing a more sustainable future. This is the kind of change that could redefine the way we think about food. And now, we want to ask you, would you eat meat that never came from an animal? For decades, obsessive-compulsive disorder has puzzled scientists. What causes intrusive thoughts? Why do certain behaviors repeat uncontrollably? Now, for the first time, genetics is beginning to answer. An international meta-analysis, one of the largest of its kind, studied over 53,000 OCD cases and nearly 2 million controls. The results? 30 specific genetic regions were found to be directly associated with OCD. Genetic makeup and 2 measures of disorganizing. Test-taking memory skills, comparative psychology. Within these regions, scientists identified 249 candidate genes, and at least 25 of them are now considered highly likely to play a direct role. This isn't speculation, it's molecular evidence, and it's changing the way we see the human mind. The genes identified point to disruptions in the cortex and the hippocampus, brain regions responsible for memory, decision-making, and emotional control. Even more intriguing, many of these same genes appear in other disorders, including anxiety, depression, and Tourette's syndrome. That means OCD might not be an isolated condition. It may share a biological foundation with other mental health disorders. Rooted deep in our genetic code, OCD is not just psychological, it's neurological. And understanding that opens the door to more accurate, targeted, and liberating treatments. So now we ask, did you ever imagine that OCD could be written into your DNA? Can you imagine someone walking barefoot on a beach over 90,000 years ago? This is not a poetic metaphor, it's a scientific fact. On the coast of Larachi, Morocco, archaeologists uncovered 85 fossilized human footprints. Spread across 2 distinct trails, these prints were preserved under layers of coastal sand and dated to approximately 90,300 years ago, with a margin of error of only 7,600 years. At least 5 individuals, adults and children, left those marks. Homo sapiens, people like us. The footprints were dated using optically stimulated luminescence, a technique that measures the last time sand grains were exposed to light. This places them right in the heart of the late Pleistocene, around the Ms. 5 period. But what truly fascinates scientists is what these footprints reveal. They suggest that early humans were already using North Africa's coastal zones long before we thought. They show movement, community, maybe even migration, and all of it was silently recorded in the sand by those who walked here long before history was written. These are not just archaeological data, they are human traces, signs of presence, of life. They remind us that long before nations, flags, or cities, someone was already walking along the shore, watching the waves, leaving a mark. And now we ask you, if these footprints lasted 90,000 years, what kind of legacy are we leaving behind? The lost tomb of Pharaoh Thutmose II puzzled archaeologists for over a century. His name was known, his legacy remembered, but his burial site had vanished into the sands of time. Until now, in 2022, a British-Egyptian expedition uncovered a nearly hidden entrance carved into the rocks of Wadi Gabanat El Gurud near Luxor. It was the starting point to something remarkable. Inside, partially collapsed corridors led to a silent chamber. No mummy, no golden treasures, but something even more valuable. Alabaster jars bearing the name of Thutmose II. And above, stars painted in deep blue adorned the ceiling, a celestial signature reserved only for royal tombs. It was official. The lost tomb of the pharaoh had finally been found. Decades after the discovery of Tutankhamun, another piece of ancient Egypt was emerging from the shadows. Not with a golden spectacle, but with a whisper from history. A soft reminder that even kings can be forgotten. Until someone dares to look for them again. And now we ask you, what else might be buried beneath the sands of time? If this discovery moved you, subscribe to Curiousverse and continue this journey with us. Capturing solar energy. From space, once a dream, now a mission in motion. Japan's Ohisama satellite, weighing just 180 kilograms, is already orbiting 400 kilometers above Earth, transmitting nearly 1 kilowatt of energy back down via focused microwave beams. Meanwhile, the UK's Space Solar Project is developing a robotic orbital platform called Cassiopeia. China has even bigger plans. Kilometer-wide solar panels stationed in geostationary orbit, sending clean energy to Earth around the clock. Yes, challenges remain. High costs, vast receiver arrays, and global regulations on energy transmission. But the idea of solar power stations in orbit is no longer theoretical, and the reflection we're left with isn't about whether we can do this, but how we'll choose to use that power, because now the sky is no longer the limit. A single molecule, detected 124 light-years from Earth, on a distant world called K2-18b, wrapped in thick clouds and endless oceans, the James Webb telescope found something unexpected. Inside its atmosphere, scientists discovered unusual compounds: methane, carbon dioxide, and dimethyl sulfide. Here on Earth, DMS is only known to come from one source: life. Tiny marine microorganisms, breathing quietly beneath the waves. This discovery was made using a technique called transit spectroscopy. It analyzes starlight as it passes through a planet's atmosphere. And the signal? It's strong, statistically significant, with a confidence level of 99.7%. It's not absolute proof, but it's the closest we've ever come to hearing a quiet yes from the cosmos. Science still demands caution. Further observations are needed. But the night sky no longer feels silent. Because what if the first sign of alien life isn't a message? What if it's a molecule, a trace, a breath, a silent whisper across the galaxy that we were never truly alone? And that's it. These were 8 discoveries from 2025 that are already shaping our world and our future. Some give us hope, others give us questions, but each one is a sign that science never stops. Thank you for watching. If this journey sparked your curiosity, leave a like and subscribe to Curiousverse. And now tell us, which of these discoveries amazed you the most? For us, it was the cancer vaccine, and we truly hope the progress continues. See you in the next one.